Get ready for a thrilling dive into the world of charm and danger, where elegance masks the darkest secrets. The Amateur Cracksman is a gripping tale of two gentlemen, A.J. Raffles, the cunning master of crime, and his loyal friend Bunny, who navigate high-stakes heists with wit and style. From glittering society events to shadowy escapes, every move is a game of risk, where nothing is ever as it seems. Prepare yourself for suspense, clever twists, and the thrill of the perfect crime. This is no ordinary story. It's a heart-racing adventure you won't forget. Chapter 1. The Ides of March. It was a foggy, dreary night when Bunny found himself outside the Albany, at his wits' end. He was drowning in debt, his life crumbling around him. His hand trembled as he knocked on the door of his old schoolmate, Raffles, the only man he could think of in his desperation. As the door creaked open, there stood Raffles, impeccably dressed, his calm blue eyes glinting under the dim light. Bunny, broken and humiliated, pushed past him into the lavish room, his emotions bubbling over. "Raffles, I've ruined myself, lost everything, and I'm overdrawn at the bank. The checks I wrote earlier tonight, they're worthless," Bunny confessed, his voice shaky, the weight of his confession threatening to crush him. Raffles remained silent, lighting a cigarette, his gaze cool and unreadable. Bunny felt his chest tighten as the silence stretched. "You probably think I'm a fool," Bunny blurted out. "Why haven't you thrown me out yet?" Still pacing, Raffles finally spoke, his voice smooth as silk. "Why would I? You're in a bind, old friend. But there are ways to fix this." His calmness, his confidence, acted as a balm on Bunny's frayed nerves. "Fix this? How?" Bunny asked, hope creeping into his voice. And that's when Raffles suggested it, a heist. A chill ran down Bunny's spine as he realized the path Raffles was offering. But at that moment, the thought of salvation, no matter the cost, was too tempting. "Together," Raffles said, his voice like honey, drawing Bunny deeper into his web, "we'll get you out of this mess." And so, from the brink of despair, Bunny found himself agreeing, not fully realizing he had just stepped into a dangerous new life. Chapter 2. A Costume Piece. Weeks passed, and Bunny had grown used to the secret life he now shared with Raffles. The thrill of the chase, the careful planning, the sheer adrenaline rush as they executed their heists. It was unlike anything Bunny had ever experienced. This time, their target was Reuben Rosenthal, a brash diamond magnate who flaunted his wealth like a child showing off new toys. Bunny and Raffles watched from the shadows as Rosenthal staggered out of his house, his enormous form draped in fine clothes, diamonds glittering against his chest. Bunny's heart pounded in his chest, not from fear, but from excitement. How had he come to this, he wondered, stealing from men like Rosenthal? The feeling should have sickened him, but instead, it exhilarated him. That night, when they slipped into Rosenthal's mansion, Bunny felt a strange mix of fear and exhilaration, his hands trembling as they opened the doors to the room where the diamonds were kept. But just as they were about to strike, they were met with the most terrifying sight. Rosenthal himself, grinning like a madman, revolvers in each hand. Well, Rosenthal sneered, his voice booming in the room. "I knew you'd come for me. Thought you could outsmart me, did ya?" Bunny froze, his blood turning to ice. For a moment, he thought this was the end. But Raffles, cool, calm Raffles, stepped forward, a smile playing on his lips, and in that moment, Bunny knew that no matter what happened, Raffles would find a way out. He always did. Chapter 3. Gentlemen and Players. The air was filled with the soft thud of cricket balls hitting bats, the gentle murmur of the crowd creating a serene atmosphere. Raffles, in his element, was among the finest players, his athletic form moving gracefully on the field. Bunny sat in the audience, watching him, feeling a strange sense of pride and disbelief. How could a man who played cricket with such elegance also be the mastermind behind the most cunning heists? That evening, they had a new mark, a wealthy player who carelessly left his watch and chain in the locker room. Raffles had already planned everything, down to the smallest detail. As they strolled into the locker room, Bunny could feel the tension rise inside him, though outwardly, he mimicked Raffles' cool demeanor. "Easy now, Bunny," Raffles whispered with a smile as they made their way to the locker. His voice was so calm, so effortless, that it soothed Bunny's nerves. But deep down, Bunny wondered how long this dance of danger and elegance could last. Raffles' nonchalance was both comforting and unsettling, for Bunny knew, no matter what, Raffles thrived in this life. And now, so did he. As the two of them slipped away with the prize, Bunny couldn't help but feel a strange sense of accomplishment. What was once guilt had now been replaced by a rush of adrenaline that coursed through his veins. They were gentlemen on the field, but players in the dangerous game of theft, and Bunny had never felt more alive. Chapter 4. Le Premier Pas. One night, over a bottle of whiskey, Raffles opened up to Bunny about his first crime. The air was thick with smoke as Raffles recounted his days in Australia, how he had found himself penniless, on the brink of starvation. "It wasn't out of greed," Raffles said, his voice softer than Bunny had ever heard. "It was survival. That's how it always starts." Bunny listened intently, hanging on to every word. He saw a different side of Raffles that night, a man who wasn't born into this life, but who had chosen it out of necessity. Yet, even as Raffles spoke of desperation, there was a glint in his eye, a spark that told Bunny this life had become more than just survival. It had become a game, a thrilling game that Raffles excelled at. "And you, Bunny," Raffles said, his voice cutting through the haze of smoke, "you've got the same spark in you. I see it every time we plan a job." Bunny's heart raced. He didn't want to admit it, but Raffles was right. The line between necessity and excitement had blurred, and Bunny could feel himself slipping further into the abyss. But in that moment, as they shared their stories, he didn't care. He was Raffles' partner now, and there was no going back. Chapter 5. Willful Murder. Bunny could feel the tension building in the air as he and Raffles crept through the darkened streets toward their next target, a wealthy banker whose home was filled with riches ripe for the taking. But something felt different this time. There was a chill in the air, a sense of foreboding that Bunny couldn't shake. As they slipped into the house, Raffles whispered instructions, his voice steady and controlled. But Bunny's heart pounded in his chest, his hands trembling as he fumbled with the tools. The silence in the house was deafening, every creak of the floorboard echoing in his ears. Suddenly, a shadow moved in the hallway, and Bunny's breath caught in his throat. They had been discovered. For a brief moment, panic gripped him, his mind racing with thoughts of prison, disgrace, and the end of everything. But then, like always, Raffles was there, calm, composed, guiding them through the danger with a precision that left Bunny in awe. "Stay with me, Bunny," Raffles whispered, his hand steady on Bunny's shoulder. "We're almost through." As they made their escape, Bunny's nerves were shot, his mind reeling from the near miss. But Raffles, ever the cool-headed mastermind, was already planning their next move. Bunny realized then that this was his life now, forever walking the fine line between danger and thrill, with Raffles by his side, leading him deeper into the darkness. Journey through the Amateur Cracksman. If you enjoyed the story and want to hear more captivating tales, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the Story Hours. Your support means the world to me and motivates me to create even more exciting content for you. Let's explore more stories together. Your next adventure is just a click away.